And it happened somewhere in late 90s, he had a windfall. He made a huge amount of money. He was already over 60 years of age. Just the previous year, he got divorced. So he had all the money that he wanted, much more money than he had imagined in his life. So he wanted to spend it. He bought a 1932 Ferrari for $36 million. He bought a Beverly Hills home for $80 million. And so many other things. He wants to spend as much money as possible upon himself. He lost his wife. There's lots of money, already over 65. So he wants to spend. He also admitted himself for a medical checkup in a very super swanky Northern California medical institution, where it's not just some dreary medical test in a day. One full fortnight, at your own choice, you can go through various tests. They appointed a very pretty-looking young woman as his nurse. Things were going on slowly. He was enjoying the whole experience of it. On the fourth day evening, he was lying down in his bed, very relaxed. Unfortunately, what should happen in the toilet happened on the bed. Then he felt very embarrassed and he did not know how to deal with the situation. He was just wondering what to do. Just then he heard the footsteps of this young lady who takes care of him, coming towards the door. Fortunately in America, women don't walk quietly. Talk, she can. It's a man's desire. So he did not want this young lady to see this mess on the bed. Not knowing what to do, not having enough time to plan anything, he picked up all the sheets and threw it out of the 5th floor window. Down below, a regular man, just a regular man, was going home from a party. It's such an unfair world. A man is expected to walk on a round planet and the damn thing is spinning on top of it. So with great difficulty he was walking sideways. Going home, hey, you know what that was. He was walking sideways and going home, and the sheets came and covered him. He fought with the sheets, wildly screaming. It took him over 2 minutes to get the sheets down. By then the security came rushing, hearing the commotion. They asked, what is the commotion all about? The man was standing there dazed, looking at the sheets on the floor. And he said, it looks like I've beaten the shit out of a ghost. Now you create these ghosts every day in your mind and then fight them. And you may win. If you win, you really lost it. They're your ghosts. You can turn them off. Yes? They're just your ghosts, isn't it? Your own private ghosts. They don't exist anywhere else. If you want, you can turn them off. If you like the horror movies, you can enjoy it. If you don't like it, you can turn it off. But the problem is, you have a supercomputer and you don't know where the keyboard is. So just punch it somewhere, like this. Something works once in a way. Now, what is such a simple aspect of life? It's become complicated. Simply because we have not paid attention to this. When we are given such a complex mechanism, first thing is to spend a period of time paying attention to it, how it works, isn't it? No, first thing is we want to conquer the world. Well, the world is conquered, the world may be destroyed, but we will remain the same. Only if something different happens within you and me. your experience of life has changed, isn't it? The world has changed and changed to such an extent in the 100 years, how much it's changed means you can't even recognize that it's the same planet, it doesn't look the same anymore. But still, though we are the most comfortable generation, can we claim we are the most joyful generation ever? Can we? Can we claim we are the most peaceful generation? Can we claim we are the most loving generation? That means our experience of life has not changed. All the comforts and conveniences that we are enjoying, every bit of it, to provide these things to us, every creature on the planet, a worm, an insect, a bird, an animal and a tree, have suffered immensely. They have paid an enormous price for you and me to enjoy these comforts, isn't it so?
Yes.
We are literally making a bonfire of this planet. If you want to have a bonfire, at least you must be ecstatic. Miserable people have no business around a bonfire. What do you think? Am I being too hard on you? Miserable people have no business around a bonfire, isn't it so? Bonfire is for those who are celebrating. Miserable people, bonfire no. Cremation fires, all right for miserable people. No, bonfires, isn't it? Bonfire is for those who are in a mode of celebration. This has happened because we have refused to take charge of anything within ourselves. And everything that was possible in the human being, we are sending it up one by one. I was to speak at Tel Aviv. I am flying out of Atlanta. I am to land in Tel Aviv in the morning and speak at 6:30 in the evening. Due to some delays in the flights, I land there at 6 in the evening. Then I quickly change in the airport and I am rushing. In this 34 years that I've been out in this public life, I have not been late to a single appointment. I don't want to break it today, so I'm just rushing quickly from the airport. And I'm famished. I'm flying an American airline. There's nothing edible on the plane. I'm really hungry. And they drove me to the venue. To my joy, I find, it's a very rare thing for me, I'm speaking at a fine restaurant. I thought, this is great, life can't get better when you're this hungry. Then as I walk in, people are greeting me, and one person comes up to me and says, Shalom. I ask him, what does it mean? He says, this is the highest way of greeting. I say, see, that's your opinion. But what does it mean? He said, no, this is really the highest way of greeting. All right, but what does the word mean? He said, it means peace. Then I said, why would peace be the highest way of greeting unless you're born in the Middle East? In southern India, somebody comes up to me in the morning and says, peace. I say, what's wrong with you? Whatever you're deprived of slowly goes to heaven. If there's no love in your life, that becomes the source of love. If there is exuberant joy and love in your life, you will not look up for love, isn't it? Hello? We are in Tennessee, okay? There's a small little town, and one day I'm just walking in the downtown area of the town, everything is down. Little town. And I'm just walking, greeting people and walking around. You know, this is the darkest shade of skin which can survive in that town. A shade darker cannot really be there. So one man, a huge man, over 6 feet tall, this white, comes and stands just a foot away from me, looks down at me and says, God loves us. I looked at him like this. I said, the way you are, only God can love you. God loves you means nothing. He has to love the mistakes he has made. If you make yourself in such a way that nobody can help loving you, that's a fantastic way to be. Yes or no? I'm talking about being peaceful, being joyful, being loving. Should it be the way that we live in this society, or should it be a heavenly aspiration for you in your life? Please make up your mind. It should be part of our society. It should be a part of our life, living among people, isn't it? We don't know those up there whether they need your love or not. Yes or no? You don't know whether they care a damn about whether you're loving or not. But here it matters to people. Yes? Why such a simple thing has become so complex? Just this. See, we want pleasantness. The body becomes pleasant. We call this health. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it pleasure. The mind becomes pleasant, we call this peace. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it joy. If our emotions become pleasant, we call this love. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it compassion. If our very life energies become pleasant, we call this blissfulness. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it ecstasy. If our surroundings become pleasant, we call this success. Only to make our surroundings pleasant, we need the cooperation of other people and other forces in the world. Yes? We want to create pleasant surroundings. Now we must be able to get everybody's cooperation, otherwise it won't happen. But pleasantness of the body, pleasantness of the mind, pleasantness of your emotion, and pleasantness of your life energies are 100% your business. Yes or no? 100% your business. But today I want to tell you, 70% of the American population is on some kind of prescription medication to be helpful. Well, you know, we are spending some $3 trillion on healthcare in this country. It can sink a nation. $3 trillion can sink a nation. For 1.25 billion people, India's economy is 3 trillion or 3.2 trillion. That's what we're spending on a 250 million population of this country. I want you to understand this, why I'm speaking about this. See, either as an individual or a society or a nation, why people strive and aspire towards affluence, ease, so that we have a choice of nourishment and lifestyles. That's what, that's the reason. Otherwise, what does money mean? Nothing. It is just that it gives us a choice of nourishment choices and lifestyle choices. So the most affluent nation on the planet definitely has enormous nourishment choices and lifestyle choices. But 70% are on prescription medication, the remaining, of course, are on the street drugs. To be healthful, we need outside chemicals. To be peaceful, we need outside chemicals. To be joyful and ecstatic, of course. I was in a very large group of people in New York City. I just asked them, what do you think is the percentage of people in New York City who can sit one evening quietly by themselves and be peaceful? What percentage of people can do it without even a glass of wine? That's the lowest dosage. Many other people need various levels of things. Glass of wine is the minimum. How many can simply sit peacefully and joyfully by themselves? They debated for a while and they said 5%. I was in London 6 weeks ago and I asked them the same question. How many in London can sit peacefully and joyfully by themselves without even a glass of wine? They said less than 1%. For everything we need outside support. This means we've completely lost control over who we are. Now, I'm not looking at this as a moral issue. This is not a moral issue for me. There are two fundamental responsibilities as a generation of people upon us. Because, first of all, we must know that we are just a linkage between the previous generation and the next generation. I want you to remember, before you and me came here, there were countless number of other people. They were also smart people. They were also big people. They also thought just like you. Where are they now? All topsoil. Yes. This will also become topsoil unless your friends choose to bury you real deep, fearing you may raise from the dead. So one fundamental responsibility is, whichever way the world was given to us by our parents, that when we pass it on to the next generation, we leave it a little better. But this we cannot do. If we do all the right things from today onwards, it will still take 150 to 200 years of correction to even get it back to the status in which we got it. So in this goal we will fail anyway, but we can start the process now. And the next responsibility is that the next generation that we produce is at least one notch better than us in every way. Yes? Very important. Otherwise there is no purpose of civilization. There is no purpose of carrying knowledge and awareness and knowing from generation to generation. We must leave the next generation as at least one notch better human beings than who we are. In this also we will fail if 90% of us here as a population are consuming chemicals and chemicals. It doesn't matter whether it's prescribed or off the street. One may cause more damage than the other, but we never know which causes maximum damage. Because sometimes street drugs are not available even if you want. But prescription medicine is always available. To be healthy is the nature of this body. Yes? Every cell in this body is programmed for survival and health. If it's turning against us, obviously, we're doing something fundamentally wrong, isn't it? There was a time when large number of people used to die with epidemics, infectious diseases. That means some other organisms caused trouble to us. We have largely contained that, almost gone it is. But now we are in self-help to create ill health for ourselves. We are in self-help to create misery for ourselves. I'm asking you, when is the last time that somebody poked you with a dagger? When is the last time? They never did, they ignored you. What I'm asking you is, how much of human suffering is coming from outside? Minuscule, isn't it? Rest is all self-help. Why is this happening? There is an evolutionary dimension to this. You heard of Charles Darwin? Hello? Yes. No issues with him. We got some trouble with him in Tennessee. We have a feud with them. I'll make this a little simplistic. Charles Darwin said something like this. A deer could have become a giraffe over so many million years. A pig could have become an elephant over many more million years. And a monkey became human rather quickly. So quickly that anthropologists believe that there must be a missing link somewhere. You're in the balcony, I thought you were in the trees. There must be a missing link somewhere. This means it happened rather too quickly. The DNA difference between a chimpanzee and you right now is only 1.23%. 1.23% is not much of a difference. Physiologically, that's how close we are to a chimpanzee. Only 1.23% difference. But in terms of our intelligence, in terms of our awareness, we are worlds apart from a chimpanzee. Or in other words, you have an intelligence for which you don't have a stable enough base. You can call it stress, you can call it anxiety, you can call it depression, you can call it madness, you can call it whatever. You can find more exotic names. But all that's happening is, you do not know how to handle your own intelligence. That's all that's happening. Yes or no? Your own thought, your own emotion is poking you to death. Nobody's bothering to poke you. You're busy. When I first came to the United States of America a few years ago, wherever I went, people were talking about stress management. I could not understand. Why would anybody want to manage stress? Because in my understanding, we manage things which are precious to us. Our family, our business, our wealth, our money, and whatever else. Why would anybody want to manage stress? It took me a while to understand that people have concluded that stress is a part of their life. Stress is not a part of your life. Stress is not the nature of your job. Stress is not coming to you from your family. You just don't know how to conduct your own intelligence. It's turning against you. Once your intelligence is turned against you, you're finished. No power in the universe can save you. Yes or no? Yes? When your own intelligence has turned against you, there is no solution, isn't it? The important thing is, your body and your mind should work for you, not against you. Chronic ailment means your body is working against you. Stress, anxiety, misery, depression means your intelligence is working against you. Yes or no? Is it not time, if you don't conquer the world, at least to take charge of this? Is it not time? You can't blame it on evolution anymore. It happened too quickly, what can I do? Now to stabilize this, to stabilize it in such a way that your intelligence will work for you. If it works for you, will you keep yourself joyful or miserable? To make this work for you, there are three fundamental ways in which we can approach. One is, there is an elemental dimension to this, the 5 elements in nature of earth, water, air, fire and space. There is a geometric aspect to our physical creation. Every physical aspect of the existence has a geometry to it. And there is a chemistry or the chemical aspect of our existence. Which way shall we look at it today? Which way shall we explore today? Always a problem. Not with me, with my watch. But, you know, though I have lived here long enough and been around with innumerable number of people, one thing my wisdom has not evolved into is, I have not learned to say a clear no to anybody. This puts me into ceaseless amount of work. But what to do? Being a big yes to life has been wonderful. Only thing, it leaves me exhausted. But I think it's better to die exhausted than to die of boredom. What do you think? So let's quickly try to go through these three things. The elements: earth, water, air, fire and space. Earth means physicality. In everything there is a physical substance. Water is the cohesiveness. Today, for example, we'll use you as an example. We can look at the entire universe if you want, but just you. You have a form and a shape only because of the water. If I take away all the water from your body, you will become this much powder. Really? Because 72% of your body is water, 12% is earth. So if you are 100 kilograms, let's say, don't be, okay? Just for making arithmetic easy for me. If you are 100 kilograms of body weight right now, if we take away all the water, you will become 12 kilograms of dust. So water is 72%, 12% is earth, 6% is air, 4% is fire, and the remaining is space. It's called akash, there is no appropriate word in English. Some people call it ether, some people call it space, but a dimension beyond physical nature. Now, if you can make the water in you sweet, 72%, you're done. The water that you drink is not just the water that you drink. In everything that you consume, there is water. Suppose you learn how to make the water that enters you into your frame. There is a system. The book is looking at very simple aspects of how to make the water that you drink into your frame, the food that you eat into your frame, because health will not happen because of pharmaceutical industries. Here, there is a chemical industry beyond anything that we can ever design, because every second in this body, per second, there are 37 followed by 21 zeros, that many chemical reactions happening in your body. Okay? Whatever that number is, just to give you a perspective. 12 zeros means a trillion. So 37 followed by 21 zeros, whatever that number is, that many chemical reactions are right now happening in your body. This is not something that you can ever analyze or master, but there is an intelligence here within this which manages all this. Keeping that in the best possible way is the only way to health. Science, medical sciences should help us to prevent external organisms causing trouble to us. But everything else must happen from within, isn't it? You think a pharmaceutical industry or a doctor can manage your health from outside? They can manage it, but they can't give you health, isn't it? This can only happen from within because this is too complex a machine for anybody from outside to manage. And you have to manage it when it's running. You can't fix it, stop it and fix it, no. You got to manage it when it's on, isn't it? So mechanics won't do. Small things can be done. Fundamental health cannot happen that way. So taking our charge of this, how these elements behave within us. Today, there is substantial research on water, for example. This is something in the yogic culture, it's always been, it amuses me that today billion-dollar researches are going on to come to the same truths that we have always known. For example, water. If you take this water and just look at it like this, abuse it in every possible way, and drink it, it will behave one way within you. Because the molecular structure of the water, not the chemical structure, the molecular structure of the water changes with every emotion, thought and touch. If you just hold it lovingly in your hand, the molecular structure reorganizes itself. It's no more mumbo jumbo. There is an entire, it's been established today that the molecular structure changes and it behaves differently. There's a beautiful video somewhere on the YouTube, I think. These two kids, they were twins, one boy and girl in Delhi. This mother came and told me, Sadhguru, these two children did an experiment. They took 2 glass jars with water, same water. They kept it in 2 different rooms. Every day they will go and abuse 1 jar of water. And the mother was worried because how much abuse they know. They are only 11-year-old kids, but they knew a lot of vocabulary, which she was shocked. They abused this water, all kinds of emotions. They went to the other water, they said nice things to this water. In about 12 to 13 days, one water turned blackish, the other water remained the same way it is. This is what is happening. This is outside, I will tell you. The most fundamental aspect of yoga, when I say yoga, don't think of your yoga studios where you're twisting, turning, sweating, building abs. That's not yoga. The most fundamental aspect of yoga is called Bhuta Shuddhi. Bhuta Shuddhi means to cleanse the elements or to take charge of the elements. Because without that, there is no control over life. So this is about 26, 27 years ago. I was at that time a hit and run guru. That means I come to a town, I do a large program and I just vanish. Nobody knows where I am. There's no Facebook page following me. Reluctant, not wanting to do it, but inevitably drawn to places because of people. And slowly I saw people coming up where they became very thirsty, they want to know more. So could not ignore them. Then I said, okay, you look like you're very hungry and thirsty for this. Then we will do Bhuta Shuddhi practices. Every 40 to 48 days, this system is going through a certain cycle. Human physiology goes through a certain cycle between 40 to 48 days. This is referred to as mandala. So I said, if 3 mandalas, if you are willing to do sadhana or work upon yourself, you can establish yourself in a completely different level of joyfulness, healthfulness, above all, mastery over your own life and destiny. Then I saw 3 mandalas means 135, 140 days. Families and businesses and jobs will struggle. Then I said, okay, you do 1 mandala at home, 2 mandalas we will do it together, that means 90 days we'll do it together. Then I said, no drama will happen. 90 days. You went home today and went and told your husband, you know, I want to go spend 90 days with Sadhguru because he's going to teach me how to clean my water and air and everything in me. He will freak. You go and tell your wife, I am going away with Sadhguru for 3 months, purifying myself. Your wife will do Kathak. So I know drama will happen. Initially it will start in the bedrooms, then spill into the rest of the home, then spill over to the street, it may engulf the town. I don't want to be there. So I said, see, those who really want it, only those who genuinely want this, 90 days come with this preparation. No compulsion on anybody, and I left the town. So 3-4 days before the program, I came to the town. I went into your home in India. This is part of Indian hospitality. If you go to anybody's house, the first thing is a glass of water. It's a must. A glass of water is not brought means you're not welcome. And if a glass of water is brought to you, I'm telling of those of you who are not of Indian background, if you go to your Indian home and they bring a glass of water, you don't say no thank you. You at least sip it. If you say no to the water, it means you're rejecting their hospitality completely, or you think they're not fit enough for you to be there. So it'll become an insult to them. So she brings a glass of water. I look at the lady. Today she's looking like Kali. Kali means she's an extremely fierce-looking goddess, tongue hanging out, human body parts around her neck and blood oozing everywhere, that kind of goddess. I looked at her, she's looking like Kali. I said, Amma, today you're looking like Kali. I'm not so desperate that I must drink this water. Leave it alone. Then, now I know. She started tearing up. Now I know another kind of drama will begin, that I refuse the water. Then I said, you do one thing, you take a sip of this water. She took a sip of this water. This means it's good water only. She thinks I'm using her as a food taster. I said, you give it to me. She gave me the water, I just held it in my hand for a minute or two, then gave it to her and said, drink it. She drank it and burst into tears, started crying and said, it's become very sweet, it's become very sweet. I said, you idiot, this is all it is. This is all it is. Every life-making material that you take into you, the food, the water, the air that you breathe, everything, you can take it inside and make it sweet. Because they're nurturing you every moment. Or you can take it inside and make poison out of it. This is all you got. She's become like Kali today because her husband is planning to go 90 days. That's the whole issue. So elements can be transformed. We have a few steps in the book as to how to treat the elements in your life. The earth that you walk upon, the air that you breathe, the food that you eat. Just treating them right, they will behave differently. Today it is distinctly identified, the water has its own memory. If water has memory, it is very important what kind of memory you impart upon this water before it enters you. Is it not important today as you sit here, whether you remember sweet things or bitter things, are they not deciding who you are right now? Yes or no? If you remember, you saw somebody here for the first, after a long time, you remembered sweet things about this person, how you behave. You remember bitter things about this person, how you behave. Is it not very different? That is how every aspect of life is behaving with you. Water is not a commodity, it is life-making material. The food that you eat is not a commodity, it is life-making material. The air that you breathe is not material, it is life-making material. It is not commodity, it's a life-making material. Everything, the very earth that you walk upon is not dirt, It is life-making material, isn't it? If you learn to treat this well, it will treat you well. Health should not even be an issue. Not just health, you can become the master of your destiny if you have mastery over the 5 elements. Geometry. Every physical form has some geometry. If the geometry is perfectly aligned, things will happen smoothly. For example, right now we are living in the solar system. The planets are not attached to the sun by a cable. Just because of perfection of geometry, they're staying on track, isn't it? Little off geometry, that's the end of it. So, right now, whatever automobiles you're driving, if the machine or the engine is geometrically in perfect alignment, it functions smoothly, no friction. Similarly this, if you understand the geometry of the body, this will function without any friction. No friction means there is harmony. Where there is harmony, there is pleasantness. Pleasantness means you feel peaceful and joyful. Just understanding how to sit. For many of you who may be practicing various twisting, turning yoga, let me tell you this. There is only one sutra in over 200 odd sutras that Patanjali gave in the Yoga Sutras, which talks about asanas or postures. He said, Sukham Stiram Asana. This means a posture that is stable and comfortable. This is your asana. When will something become stable and comfortable? When it's geometrically perfect. Body is not an issue anymore. It simply sits there. Just learn to sit properly. It's very difficult in America because your furniture is made like this. If you sit down, it goes like this. I'm telling you, if you redesign all the furniture in the United States of America, 30% of your physical ailments will be gone. You're just not sitting right. That's not the way to sit. This body is not designed for that. Just to give you some understanding, all the vital organs in your body are in this cavity, right? They are not fixed with clamps and nuts and bolts tightly held. They are in nets, hanging like this. If they have to function, your body has to be like this. Now they are all sitting in the right position where maximum efficiency is there. They fall on top of each other. They don't function very well. Especially if your stomach is full and you do this. Everything is functioning to half the level of its efficiency than it should. Just learning to sit right. If you do this much, after that there are other more refined forms of geometry. Geometry, that is, your energy system has a geometry of its own to rearrange that in such a way that to be healthful and joyful is a natural consequence of the way you arranged your system. That is about geometry. I leave it there. There is no way you can separate the geometry of your body. Right now, you're close to San Francisco. All of you should visit this Exploratorium. Have you been there? That is one place, but there are other more profound scientific places. Today, modern science is coming up with a theory called constructional theory. How the way the atom is made and the way the cosmos is made, the fundamental design is same, including your own body. It is just the sophistication and complexity is multiplying, but fundamentally it's the same design. This is the basis of yoga. Anda, Pendanda, both are same design. If you master this, you get the mastery over everything because it is the same fundamental design. only complexity and sophistication is multiplying. The chemistry of it, today modern medicine is all about chemistry. If you can switch over to flashlights, please, sir. The cell phone flashlights, yes. All human experience and health issues are being dealt with chemicals, isn't it? Yes? Entire modern medicine is manipulation of chemistry in so many ways. So we know that health is a certain kind of chemistry, peace is another kind of chemistry, joy is another kind of chemistry, ecstasy is one kind of chemistry, agony, misery, madness, everything has a chemical basis to it. All human experience has a chemical basis to it. Or this is a chemical soup. Now the question is only, are you a great soup or a lousy soup? If I give soup making ingredients to all of you, same ingredients, do you believe all of you will come up with the same type of soup? No. 3,000 different varieties of soups will happen here with the same ingredients. Because soup making skills needs perfection to get it the same way. There may be someone here, instinctively, they produced a fabulous soup. But can we make a science of how to produce a fabulous soup? Yes or no? Yes or no? No, not possible. The soup that she makes is magic. One person's magic is another person's engineering. If you flew in the air 1,000 years ago, they would think it's magic. Today, if you fly, we call you an aviator. Yes or no? What we thought as magic has become technology, isn't it? People keep asking me, Sadhguru, can you perform some miracle for us? See, if you want, I can pull a bird out of my pocket, a pigeon out of my pocket and give it to you. If I pull a pigeon or a bird out of my pocket and give it to you, what has happened? You got a bird and I got a shitty pocket. In what way has it changed your life or my life? I will show you another kind of miracle. Today I can show you millions of people around the world. If they as much as close their eyes, tears of ecstasy will drip and wash their cheeks. I can show you hundreds and thousands of people who in the last 5, 10, 15 years, they've not had a moment of anxiety, anger, or irritation, or tension in their lives. This is the miracle you want in this world. This is a miracle that you should perform in your life. This is one miracle all of you are capable of doing if you are willing to do it. Because when it comes to external realities, what I can do, you cannot do. What you can do, somebody else cannot do. When it comes to outside world, all of us are differently capable, isn't it? But when it comes to inner dimension, all of us are equally capable. It's not happened because we never paid attention in this direction. Because in our interiority, every one of us is equally capable. Nobody is better endowed than the other. Physically, one may be more capable than other. Psychologically, intellectually, one may be more capable than the other. But in your interiority, there is no such thing. If you are willing, every human being can perform this miracle. This miracle must happen. This miracle must happen. this miracle must happen? But I want you to pick that but. It doesn't matter. There are 1,000 things in our lives which are not happening the way we think it should be happening. That's sadness. What is the source of all your misery in your life? Is life is not happening the way you think it should happen. Is there any other problem? Hello? No. And most of the time you're not even thinking straight. Every other day the way you think changes, yes or no? If it happened the way you thought, by now the world would be total mess. You must be glad it's not happening the way you think it should happen. But this is the only problem, isn't it? Life is not happening the way I think it should happen. See, there is a wonderful, wonderful suspense thriller movie going on in a local theatre. None of you have seen it. I have seen the movie. Shall I tell you the story? Yes. Those in the balcony, I'm asking you. Entire story will take too much time. I will just tell you the last suspense part. Okay?
Okay.
There are some real moviegoers. They're saying, no. Why? You want to enjoy the suspense. Enjoying the suspense means what? You went and saw the posters there. This director, this actor, oh, maybe this is what they will do. Mind will predict and project. You went inside the theatre, you saw the still images, oh, definitely this guy is going to do that guy is going to do this, this is what may happen. You go and sit in the auditorium, first few scenes, and then you say, this is what's going to happen. It went wrong. Then you say, no, this is going to happen, went wrong. You said, this is going to happen, went wrong. You made predictions and predictions and predictions. It went wrong and went wrong and went wrong. Then you discuss with your friend halfway down, said, last scene definitely going to be like this. When the last scene came, something totally different happened. Then you come out and say, wow, what a wonderful movie. If all your predictions go wrong, it is wonderful. Then I'm asking, what's wrong with your life? Only thing that's wrong with your life is you have lost the heart to enjoy the suspense. Little suspense means palpitation will. Little more suspense means the damn thing will break. You don't want any suspense in your life? Suspense is happening, that means you're constantly entering new terrain in your life. That means life is happening good, isn't it? Everything is happening the way you think. That means you're in a pit, nothing can change. Yes, sir. Now, tomorrow morning, if you wake up, see, every day, nearly 250,000 people won't wake up tomorrow morning. Nearly 250,000 people die, natural death. Suppose you wake up tomorrow. Because I'm saying this because a whole lot of people here think other people die. No, you and me will die. Is it okay? I'll bless you with a long life. But you and me will die one day, is it okay? It's most important that you come to terms with your mortality. Because if you do not understand the mortal nature of who you are, suddenly you have so much time to do all kinds of idiotic things in your life. If you understand, it's a brief life, then you will do only that which truly matters to you. If all of us are doing only that which truly matters to us, this is a beautiful world. Yes or no? Right now, all kinds of rubbish is done because people are immortal. So if you wake up tomorrow morning, don't take this for granted. This is not going to be there for always. They were all strong men and women in the past, all topside, isn't it? So we are not exempt from this. Tomorrow if you wake up, check. Still alive. Will you give yourself one big smile? Huh? If you wake up. If you're dead, I will excuse you. But if you wake up, will you give yourself one big smile? Still on. Oh, there is no Wi-Fi, Sadhguru. Your phone is dead, but you are alive. Is it good? What is the greatest thing that's happening to you right now? You're alive right now, isn't it? Not your job, not your career, not your money, not your wealth, not any of those damn things. You're alive right now. This is the greatest thing. And don't take it for granted because it's not going to be forever. It's a brief happening. The more joyful you become, the briefer it becomes. Because, have you noticed on a particular day you were very, very joyful? One day passed off like a moment. Have you noticed this? Another day you're a little depressed. One day feels like a eon. So only miserable people will have a long life. If you're a joyful human being, even if you live to be 100, it's too brief to realize the immense potential that a human being carries within himself or herself. The time that we are given is simply not enough. In this, people have time to be irritated. They have time to be depressed. They have even time to be bored. This is because they're immortal. This is their problem. Problems of immortality. So you looked at your watch, it's 3 o'clock. Still one big smile. I'm saying, from the time you came here, you are 1 hour, 45 minutes closer to your grave. You better know that. When you look at this watch, it's not time ticking away. It's this life ticking away. Yes or no? So every time, you must promise me this, every time you look at your watch, if you're alive, just give yourself one big smile, still on. In India, we use the Indian language English language like this. Suppose someone comes and tells you, my grandmother is very serious. What do you understand? That she is dying. Yes? So if you're serious, what does it mean? That when you're supposed to be living, you're dying. That's what it means. If you walk around with a grave face, you're practicing to be there. See, I want you to understand this. See, death is always super efficient. Doesn't need practice. The nature of life is such, however well you do it, you can still do it better. Yes or no? Yes? However you do it, there is still a better way to do it. This is the nature of life. Life will always be imperfect because we can always do it better. But death is super efficient and perfect, so you don't have to practice it. Have you ever seen anybody dying inefficiently? You have seen a whole lot of inefficiency in life, but you've never seen any dead person being inefficient. 100%. Perfect. So don't practice that now. You will anyway do it well. Don't worry, will I fail in my life? You will not fail, everybody shall pass. But you have a mind. Mind in the yogic sciences, we look at the mind, human mind is 16 parts. There are 16 parts to the mind. We can look at it as 4 segments right now. But one thing that's happened with the kind of education and the way we're building our lives has happened is we're using only one part of the mind, which is the intellect. Rest of it we're ignoring largely. Rest of it we're conducting it completely unconsciously. Our education systems are purely intellectual. It is not training other dimensions of intelligence at all. If I don't want to use Indian terminology, but because there are no alternative words. This is called as buddhi, ahankara, manas and chitta. Buddhi means the intellect. Intellect must be sharp. Yes? Please choose right now, I'm blessing you, okay? Whatever choices you make, your intellect must be sharp, right? If something is sharp, the hand that holds it must be steady. A knife, for example, I must tell you this. Every year we are trekking in Nepal and Tibet every year, about a month. I'm in Nepal and Tibet trekking in high altitude. So 2 years ago when I'm there, we're in a tent. I'm sitting in a tent and working on something. Somebody else is cutting an apple. Another person who's in the tent tells this person, be careful, it's a very sharp knife. It irritates me. I look at it like this because, this is a full-grown man. He's a child, yes. Full-grown man, he must know how to handle a knife. It's not some complicated machinery, just a knife. A knife never ever popped up and hurt somebody. Is there such a history anywhere? No. But then I ignore and continue my work. Then another 2 minutes later, again I hear, it's a very sharp knife, be careful. I say, come on, leave him alone. He's a grown-up man, he knows how to handle a knife. And what is this going on saying that it's a sharp knife? I call something a knife only if it's sharp. I don't call this a knife. Leave him alone. No, Sadhguru, it's a very sharp knife. Okay, I continue with my work. Another 2 minutes, I hear a whisper. 2 minutes later, he cuts his hand. Now, this is the problem. You have a sharp knife and don't have a steady hand. You may cut yourself or somebody. This is the reason why we don't give a knife to a child's hand. Not because a knife is dangerous, because a child's hand is not steady, not conscious enough. In a day, in 24 hours time, are knives on this planet saving and making more lives or taking more lives? What do you think? Saving and making lives. Whether it's in the kitchen or the surgery table, it's making lives, isn't it? In some irresponsible hand, it may take a life. But knife does not symbolize danger. Knife symbolizes usefulness. Yes or no? Similarly, human intellect is like a knife sharp. Whatever you give it, it cuts it into pieces. But today, our entire science, our entire approach to life is through intellect. So whatever you give it, you want to dissect it and see. If you give this flower to somebody who thinks he's a scientist, he will pull it apart to see what is inside. He will know everything about it, but he will not know the beauty of it. He will not know the fragrance of it. He will not know the aliveness of it. I think if I really want to know you, I must dissect you. Definitely that's not the way, isn't it? But if you approach everything intellectually, this is what happens. Unfortunately, this is what is happening to us. We are cutting the entire world into pieces. Not just that, we are cutting ourselves into pieces. See, this is an individual. Are you an individual? An individual means not further divisible. But human intellect is such it will divide this also. You ask anybody, especially if they think they are spiritual, they are saying, in India means it's not a vocabulary. In English language it's not so much, but still people are saying ego, myself, my super self, my super conscious self, whatever, whatever. Let's decide this today. Is there just one entity within you or many? Please decide this. If there is more than one, you're either schizophrenic or you're possessed. It means you either need a psychiatrist or an exorcist. You must make up your mind. There is only one person here. Sometimes he's wonderful, sometimes he's miserable, sometimes he's beautiful, sometimes he's ugly. This is the person you have right now. Instead of that, oh, I'm very wonderful, but my ego does nasty things. Ego is your fall guy. Kill that guy today. There is only one here. But because we have not taken charge of this one completely, he behaves in unpredictable, irresponsible ways. One guy or many? Only one? Only one means very easy to take him where we want. 10 inside, what can we do? They will pull in 10 different directions, you can't fix that. If there is only one, there is a simple method with which we can do it. The next dimension of your mind is called the ahankara. We can describe this as the hand which holds the intellect. What kind of identities you take? The more strongly you are identified with limited identifications, the more you will use your intellect to cut the world into pieces. I want you to understand, it is not the so-called criminals on the planet who are destroying this planet. It is people with very good intentions. It is a good Indian fighting a good Pakistani, more good, more fighting. A good Hindu fighting a good Muslim. A good American fighting just about anybody. Because the more good you think you are, the more confrontational you become with everything around you. We don't need good people. We need joyful and sensible people on this planet. Why joyful ease? Let me ask you this. If I meet you when you're very joyful, I'm 100% sure you are a wonderful, wonderful human being. But if I meet you when you're angry, if I meet you when you're miserable, if I meet you when you're frustrated, if I meet you when you're depressed, you could be nasty. Yes or no? This is true with you, this is true with every human being. Yes? Because to be pleasant to somebody, there must be pleasantness happening within you. Only then you can be pleasant to somebody. You're feeling miserable, you try to be pleasant to someone else, misery will multiply. Yes or no? If you want human beings to behave in pleasant ways, we must make sure they're feeling pleasant within themselves, isn't it? See, 20% of our time, resources and energies are spent in the prisons in India. A little bit of work we did in the United States. People keep asking me, Sadhguru, you're spending so much time with these criminals, we barely get to see you. I don't see any criminals. All I see is everybody is in pursuit of their happiness. The man whom you call as your criminal, also in pursuit of his happiness. It is just that he pursues his happiness far more vigorously than you. In pursuit of your happiness, you're willing to stand in a line. He jumps the line. That's all, isn't it? Yes? In pursuit of your happiness, you are willing to follow some rules. But he's pursuing it so vigorously, he cannot go by the stupid rules. He wants to step on your face and go. Yes, sir. I'm telling you, I've spent so much time with hardcore criminals. If you look at their history sheets, they have done terrible things in their life. If you let them all out tomorrow morning, I believe at least 50% of them will do similar things once again. But when they're with me, they're such wonderful guys. Because I make sure they're joyful. When they're joyful, they are such intense and beautiful people. But if you meet him when he's angry, it's another deal. Joy is an insurance in your life. Joy is an insurance in this world. We must make this happen. As a generation of people, the onus is upon us that we create a culture where we know how to be helpful, peaceful, joyful by our own nature, not because of big industries around it. I'm asking you, are you willing to take this step in your life? That we not only have the responsibility of living well, we also have the responsibility of handing over the world in a beautiful way, isn't it? The legacy of helpful, joyful society is upon us, isn't it? The responsibility of that is upon us. If we don't do it, we are a failed generation. It doesn't matter. We flew airplanes, we went into space, but we're miserable people. What have we done? I'm asking. We don't know how to live on this planet, but we want to go to another planet and screw it up. What is the point going to another planet, I'm saying? Because the same people, same problems. If we know, if we are bursting with ecstasy here on this planet, we must go to every goddamn planet in the universe because it's worthwhile. We are miserable here. At least we must quarantine our misery. Shall I tell you a little bit of what happened to me, why I'm here today?
Yes.
We just passed September. The month of September, 23rd to be precise, 34 years ago, I grew up to be a super skeptic, did not grow up in any spiritual or religious atmospheres. Being 60s, I grew up reading Camus, Dostoevsky, reading people in America, they're not popular. Camus, Kafka, Dostoevsky, you don't read. These are all horribly skeptical people. But it kind of gelled with me because I was skeptical about everything. Everything around me. Not that life was bad for me, life was good for me. I was peaceful and happy, but skeptical about everything. Did not believe a thing that I cannot see. Never ever in my life till today, I've never ever prayed in my life, never went into a temple, never did anything. I refused to be influenced by anything around me. My mind was bursting with a billion questions. And I did not see one single human being who could answer one question straight. They're always referring to somebody who said something, or some book which says something. My thing is, I'm not willing to listen to any authority. If you have the truth, tell me. I will make it my authority. But if you have authorities, I will not make it my truth. So, I'm super low, alone in the world. Lots of friends, but alone. Then, because I crisscrossed India on my motorcycle, and then I decided there's no point, just let me ride away. I thought I'd make some money and that's right away. Now I'm like, where? Simply right. Because when I rode across India, it's a subcontinent, it's a huge country. I rode without purpose, simply just feeling the land, feeling the air, just riding, not going to any destination. When I hit the national border, I turned around, otherwise I just kept going. So I thought I'd make some money and get into this, then I got into business. Within a few years it became very successful, far more successful than people would imagine in those times. These are not times where in 3 months you make $1 billion. Okay, it's brick and mortar business. It doesn't happen online. You have to build it. But it became far more successful than most people would imagine in a span of time. I have half a dozen businesses going in a few years. People are clapping their hands, oh, you're doing great. Slowly the planets, instead of revolving around the sun, they're slowly beginning to go around me. So I'm super skeptical and super cocky about everything. One afternoon, I had nothing much to do between two business meetings. So, anybody familiar with Mysore city? Oh. This is a small town, culturally rich town, but a little town, with a hill, almost today it's almost in the city. Those days for the youth, if you want to test our motorcycles, we ride up Chamali Hill. You want to have a party, we go up Chamali Hill. If we fall in love, we go up Chamali Hill. If we fall out, we have to go up Chamali Hill. If you have nothing to do, you go to Chamali Hill. So I had nothing to do, so I rode up Chamali Hill. So I parked my motorcycle, I know this hill like the back of my hand, so I went up and sat on a rock. I have been practicing yoga since I was 12 years of age, for all the wrong reasons. Because I saw a yogi who was almost superhuman in his physical prowess. He could do things that, at the age of 80, 82, he could do things that nobody could do. So I started doing yoga thinking I will also become physically superhuman. Well, it definitely set me apart both physically and mentally. But I never imagined anything else, nor did I aspire for anything else, nor was I seeking anything else. It just was good to me, so I did. Simple form of yoga. Then I sat here on this rock. My eyes were still open. I thought I sat there for about 10–15 minutes. Till that moment, this was me, that was somebody else. I have no issue with that somebody, but this is me, that's somebody else, and I have no business with them. Suddenly I did not know which is me and which is not me. The very rock upon which I am sitting, the air that I breathe, the atmosphere around me, everything became me. What was me had exploded all over the place. I thought this madness lasted for about 10–15 minutes, but when I came back to my normal senses, it was about 4.5 hours. For the first time in my adult life, tears coming. Me and tears were impossible, but tears flowing down my cheeks to a point, my shirt is all wet. This entire 4.5 hours, tears have been flowing. I am being peaceful and joyful, life is good for me, there's no issues. But here I sit, every cell in my body bursting with ecstasy. I'm dripping ecstasy, literally. I stayed like this for about 2.5 days, and then I shook my mind, and I thought, what's happened to me? Then my skeptical mind says, maybe you're going off your rocker. Then I asked my closest friends, something is happening to me. Come on, what did you drink? What did you pop? I knew there was no context anywhere, neither within my mind or anybody around me could tell me what's happening to me. All I knew was, I have hit a gold mine and I don't want to lose it if I simply sit like this. If I think it's 2 minutes that I sat here, 7–8 hours have just passed. And I'm bursting, like every cell is exploding with ecstatic experience. Then I thought, the fool that I was at that time, I planned out in my mind, in 2 to 3 years' time, I have the know-how that if I sit here, I can be ecstatic. If you don't mess with your mind, if you just simply sit here, you burst into ecstasy. I said, I'm going to make the entire world ecstatic in 2 to 3 years' time. It's 34 years. Don't clap at my failures. You're enjoying my failure. Today we have touched over 100 million people. But 100 million people is not my idea of a world. My idea of a world is 7.3 billion people. I'm condemned to die as a failure. Joyfully, of course, but now I've become a little wise, But I've been creating tools as to how people can become joyful. As I said, today I can say that a few million people, if they close their eyes, tears will come of ecstasy. But we can't leave the rest of the world out. So we've been creating a variety of tools. This book is one more effort in this direction, so that in the privacy of your homes, you can start practicing simple steps to turn inward. This is very important, because one thing is because you are important for your life, and another thing is you are in the United States of America. Why this is important is, for whatever reasons, United States of America has acquired leadership position in the world, not just militarily, politically. See, if you here wear these blue trousers, half the world, without knowing why, they are also wearing blue trousers. If you tear your trousers, half the world is tearing up their trousers. I'm watching this with great interest. An American hard-working man may be wearing blue trousers, torn, but now half the world has torn their pants, new pants. Even a kindergarten child knows this body needs oxygen. But if you pump carbon dioxide into your bottle and say this is the real thing, half the world wants to drink it. So when you have leadership position like this, that everybody is looking up to you, whatever you do, they want to do, it's very important that you do the right things. See, even if you're living a freaky life, suddenly you have a child. You see the child is looking up to you. If you have little sense, you try to fix your life. Simple. Because the child is looking up to you. You must do the right thing. Yes or no? If you have a functioning intelligence, you do this. Now the entire world is looking up to you. Is it not important that we fix ourselves and set the right example to the world? Today I'm telling you, in the rest of the world, for a whole lot of youth in the world, America means free-flowing alcohol. America means drugs on the street. America means living a freaky life. America means war. We must change this. America means healthful living. America means joyful living. America means responsible behavior. America means a great life. If you don't If we don't do this, we have squandered the privilege that the world has offered to us. You didn't earn this, I'm telling you. A few generations of people in this country worked their ass off to make you have what you have today. They didn't give you this to freak around, to do irresponsible things. They gave you this believing that you will live a great life. Yes or no? A great life does not happen to you because you pop pills. A great life does not happen to you because you do freaky things. You're doing freaky things because life is not feeling great within you, isn't it? If great life means you are healthful by your own nature,